So we're just going to do a quick comparison of two data sets. I have some fictional data sets here. We want to just compare them a little bit by looking at their box plots. I just want to point out some things that you can look for when you compare data sets by looking at box plots. One of the first things that jumps out at us here is clearly box plot B looks to be contain data that has higher values than box plot A. We can see that the box portion of the box plot is higher up on the number line. We can also see that it's a bit wider, which is something of interest too. The data set in column A, or box plot A, the middle 50% of the data, and what I mean by the middle 50% is I mean the data values between the upper end of the box and the lower end of the box. So 50% of our data is in that interval there. In fact, every one of these sections of the box plot contain 25%. So this whisker is 1/4 of the data values. Now we don't know how many data values there are in this case, although we can see down below it says 10. But if we're just looking at the box plot, we know that 25% are in there, 25% are in this bottom half of the box, 25% are in this top half of the box, ignoring the mean line. We're looking only at the blue lines in this case. And 25 or 1/4 of the values are in this upper whisker. It's a common misconception to think that because the upper whisker is longer that there's more data in there. There is not. The number of data values in each is the same. Each one contains 25%. The reason that upper whisker is longer is because the data values in that that make up that whisker are just more spread out, not because there are more of them. Now, some things to look at here. We can see that the median of box plot B is actually the same as the third quartile of box plot A. So what that tells us is that 50% of the values in box plot B are above the third quartile for box plot A. We can see that 25% of the values in box plot B are higher than the highest value in box plot A. So we do have some higher values in this case. Box plot B appears to be pretty symmetric. Box plot A might be a little bit skewed to the right. We can see by that long whisker. They both have the same minimum values, and their first quartiles are also nearly the same. The IQR of box plot B, or of the data set that makes up box plot B, is much larger than the IQR of the data set that makes up box plot A. And we can see that by looking at the actual width of the box. So this distance from the third quartile to the first, that represents your IQR when you look at a box plot. That the length of that segment is the interquartile range. Over here, the IQR you can see is a good bit smaller than the IQR in box plot B. So there are just a couple ways we can take a look at two box plots and make some comparisons. I hope that helps.